Hi guys, let's see how this turns out. Originally I had a much better idea, but yeah, I dragged on too long. This is how to start your Super Junior collection. And honestly there is not a very real good advice that can help, but there are some tips I think that can help you. So first of all, you should define what do you even want from Super Junior. Do you actually want to collect everything by them? Or you just want to collect most of their stuff or most of their music, like in Korea or Japan included, subunits and solos included or not, or DVDs, photo books, what do you even want? That's basically how you should start. But no matter how you start, in a way, what you should do with this kind of big collections, like even if you only want like subunits and the main group things, you need to make groups of things. What I mean basically is Korean album collection, one version first, and then all these groups should be ranked by importance for you. So what order you want to get these, and then first only think of one group. You should make this like a smaller goal you can actually achieve, because at this size of collection, if a group has this, you are just going to you're going to go crazy if you don't do this. Basically, like, you should have smaller goals. For example, the first thing, and basically I think any elf would agree with this, is get their Korean full albums, at least one version. So you make a tiny little group list of all the 8 albums and which version you would want first. It can be your favorite version, it can be just the A version, I know people who are like that, and it can be only the repackage first, and I'm that person. I would recommend getting the repackage first, of course, because more music, but I understand if some people like the A versions. And it doesn't mean that you should, like, if you get one of the B versions before you finish all the A versions, you are committing a huge sin. Of course, once in a while you need to get free from your list, because it honestly makes you feel better when you are not like really like, there are the rules, I can't do anything else. Like, that sometimes feels a bit overwhelming, but in general, entire Super Junior album collection thing, it feels overwhelming, so there's not much you can do. You're going to be overwhelmed anyway. So personally, I would go with repackages, but if you don't want to go with repackages, that's fine. But I think you should really pick like a favorite, or just decide on what you want mainly, and then start working on them. I think you can start with the album which has your favorite title track by them, or you can start with the album that actually got you into Super Junior. That's also a great advice. So maybe the previous comeback song is your favorite title track, but you just feel really close to this other comeback because it got you into Super Junior. Or if you're already your first comeback with them, you can get that, like, or you can just get the latest album and then work backwards. That works too. Like, the camera is so far, I just can't move around. Like, so hi, I'm still here, not just my voice. So just think about which album you would get first. Of course, if it would be up to me, I would just tell you to go by my favorite top album list of Super Junior, but I think many people ignores Don Don, and Don Don is my favorite album. I think many of you already know it. So, and it's harder to get, especially if you want the repackage. I hope one day SM reprints them. So there are some struggles with Don Don, so probably it's going to be the last album you're getting. And please give a chance to that album because it's amazing. I love Don Don so much. I think getting Sorry Sorry first would also be a reasonable decision in a way. So I can't really say that you should get this album first because you should. I can't really say, it really depends on the person. So it can be your first comeback, your comeback which got into them, or your favorite title track, or just you already heard their albums and you want to get your favorite album. That works too. My suggestion basically for collecting in general is to have these little lists that you want to complete first, and the first step in Super Junior obviously should be their Korean full albums, one version each. Or maybe another version can slip in, of course, it's not a big deal. And then get U, because you should just complete the collection. And U is such a cheap jewel case that it's not really going to hurt if you already bought all the other albums, right? Then my second step would be probably subunits, and mainly Super Junior M, because they have well, the most music and have most members, and somehow like Super Junior M is a more complete subunit in a way, but getting like Cooking is just one mini album, so it's not too much. Like, let me just turn this because I'm talking about subunits. So yeah, there are subunit stuff, there's so many of them, so it's overwhelming. First, probably just concentrate on the Korean stuff again, it helps a lot. Just forget about those things for DNE because they are annoying. So the same rules what I'm going to talk about Japanese single applies to jewel case Japanese releases for these as well. But for example, getting Breakdown for M, and probably getting Supergirl, I would say The Beat Goes On is a must for DNE, and if KRY would ever release a Korean album. And getting Cooking and Rococo should be also pretty high on your list. And I guess after that I would do solos, but I can't really give a good advice on that because I bought all the solos when they were released, so I already had a priority how to buy the subunit albums before when I started collecting, so I guess. And I think it also helps when you are not too strict on your list, so you can do like this list first, that list next, groups, and you collect all these things right after each other. But when you're almost done with one of them, I think a little bit of overlapping helps you feel better. And I know many people forget that those things over there at the top are amazing. I love DVDs, and you get to see them perform and not just hear them sing the songs. But I know they are expensive. I think, oh sorry, so I think the Korean super shows should be one of your priorities pretty early on after you got most of the Korean albums, at least one versions, I guess. Getting the Korean DVDs, there is like the first one, there's a second one, third, fourth, where is like, you need to move a lot. There's fifth, that's black, and sixth is that tall over there. So these are pretty amazing, and I also really love photo books, but I can understand if you delay buying a photo book. If you like photo books and you would want to have one of them, of course it's fine. My suggestions would be definitely the Hawaii photo books, those are the most fun, one of my favorites. Of course I really love the Boys in City third one in Hong Kong, that is just adorable, I love that too. And the Boys in City 4, the Paris one, that is cool too. My weaknesses are photo books and DVDs, so don't ask me much about how to buy them. I think Hawaii would be that makes most people happy. So then when you're pretty much done with their Korean stuff, still missing a few, but you feel like you can move on to Japanese things, then that scary stack is there. And you can't even see it because of the perspective, but that's a lot of jewel cases, and you can see the limited versions there. So, what to do with Japanese singles? Oh my god. First, if you want to keep up, I guess getting the new ones help. Because I've been collecting Super Junior from like Oppa Oppa for DNE and Opera for the group. So after that I pre-ordered every single, and it just doesn't feel as overwhelming, and I only had to work backwards from that, so it wasn't too bad. But of course now it's more crazy. So I'm sorry, I'm so sorry for you if you just got into Super Junior and this is crazy. I know, I know, I feel you. And I know that it was much easier on me, but believe me, it was already hard. So it's hard to imagine that it's even harder, but it is definitely. So what I suggest for singles, of course, again, the same kind of thing, one version each probably, for older things I mean. You can just pick your favorite cover, because you don't get much with singles, honestly. You just get the lyrics paper most of the time anyways. So if you're so dedicated to get them, just might as well get your favorite cover first, right? Or just get the limited big ones if you have space for them and it makes you happy, because they are pretty. So Like for the ones which have these limited bigger versions, I guess you can get those first, or your favorite jewel case cover, or just be strict to yourself and only get the CD only versions if you like those, or the CD plus DVD versions, or the Elf Japan versions first. Like, again, just make this kind of list of them, I guess. I mean, you can just go and like, okay, let's get all the versions of BG now. Okay, let's get all the versions of Opera now or something. You can just do that too. But it makes you feel have a more complete collection when you have one of each at least, because you just don't feel as like huge parts of your collection are missing, and your collection also looks more balanced. So I think it helps when you collect like that, but again, I'm not telling you to do it my way. I'm just saying that's something that I think makes collecting is a bit easier when you do that. So picking your favorite version, or just CD only, or just CD plus DVD, or Elf version also applies to the subunit things over there, which you can see right now. And then I'm not sure what I didn't talk about yet. This is actually surprisingly short. I expected it to be much longer. Of course, there are the live CDs. If you feel more attached to live CDs than DVDs, I guess you can collect the Super Show live CDs. It's not going to hurt, but I personally prefer DVDs. And I think it's just really nice feeling to have the DVDs completed. And I guess before getting really into completing all the Japanese things, it's better if you have all the Korean releases. Like, it makes your collection just feel better because you actually get things with the Korean versions, while with Japanese things, when you're only collecting Japanese things, it becomes a bit more bland. Like, you won't get all these photos, and if you don't get the first press, you won't even get a photo card, so it can feel a bit less exciting. So I guess getting all the Korean versions helps. And yeah, I think these were my main advices on This Is Love member versions. I definitely recommend getting your bias and Shindong's versions first. Like, pretty much consider them the same thing. Like, you should get both, definitely. And if later you decide to buy all the versions, okay. I think, like, while you're working on your Japanese collection and you're pretty much done with basic Korean and subunits and solos, and even you got the Korean DVDs, and after that you feel like you want to get more covers of member versions or versions, I think that's the great time to work on it. Like, yeah, especially This Is Love, when you're already struggling with the right those over there, so the Japanese singles, and you are just like, oh, I'm not getting photos again, and you just buy one version of This Is Love which you didn't have. It makes you feel great because you get photos again. So, but definitely Shindong's one is something that people shouldn't miss out on. You get all the members equal information, so I think it's like the most basic version of that repackage, plus getting your bias makes sense because they are your bias, obviously. So if you don't have a bias, then just buy Shindong's. But there are some of the other members who have pictures of all the members, so those versions are also great. And I think those were all my advices in 15 minutes and less. That's actually great. Oh, Taiwanese versions? They are nice, but you don't have to feel the need to consider them part of your collection, because most of them are just the same photo books as the Korean ones, except for the U Taiwanese mini album version of the U single, which also has Dancing Out, and it has a completely new photo book, so put that on your list if you want most of Super Junior stuff, because it's a nice thing. But for the other Taiwanese versions, I think for a while in the beginning you can ignore it. When you're already deep into collecting Japanese singles, sometimes you can buy a Taiwanese Taiwanese version, I guess, because they are nice. You are getting something that you've already got in a Korean version most of the time, and a DVD. So I really think I talked about everything. This is a tough thing to collect. I mean, like, pretty much only for Cassie's it's worse, the whole situation. But it also makes, stupid camera tripod, but it makes you feel really nice when you get parts of your collection completed. So, and at least for Super Junior there is always something to collect. So if you really love collecting and you think that's a good thing that there's always something to get, then Super Junior is a great group for that. So thank you for watching. Good luck with your Super Junior collection, because you're going to need it. I still need it. I still need about like 30 things, but it's not too bad considering I have like 150, so it's not too bad. At least it's not 200 plus like for the Manshinki JYJ Homin. They are scary things. There is always more things to buy. Even when I'm going to say that my Super Junior collection is completed, actually it's not completed. There are always things to buy. So, main suggestion, make those groups, make those lists, and then try your best, I guess. So, it's going to hurt, but it also makes you happy if you start it, so. Bye! Thanks for watching. I hope this helped a bit, at least.